Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to take a look at some news which has come around in the Pokemon TCG, and this stuff makes me happy. And I want to start with something that maybe I could have seen coming, and maybe I should have seen coming, but I didn't see it coming. So shout out to Kyle and Guy over on Twitter for making me aware of the fact that there are Rainbow Rare Venusaur and Blastoise cards in that new Chinese set. And this is actually a very, very big deal. Like a really big deal. Because, well, not to put too fine a point on it, these cards don't exist. And like, don't get me wrong, when I said they don't exist, I mean, hey, they're coming around in Chinese, simplified Chinese mainland China. This is the first time we've ever seen them. Until then, they didn't exist. They only exist in these forms. And I mean, they actually don't exist. That would be stupid. What I mean is, hang on a second, this is weird. Now, I showed you the other day that there is a new set coming out over in China. And I've told you this a couple of times, but basically, it's a Single Strike and Rapid Strike set with Rapid Strike and Single Strike Urshifu. And then, you know, on the advert, they're clearly using Blastoise and Venusaur as the main Pokemon for the Rapid Strike and Single Strike set, despite the fact they're not Single Strike and Rapid Strike. This is very, very weird to me. But the big news the other day was that not only were they bringing in Blastoise and Venusaur, they were bringing in Full Art Blastoise and Full Art Venusaur. And this was a very, very, very big deal. Because we got Blastoise and Venusaur in our own decks, and there is no full art version. It doesn't exist. They're in their own decks in Japan as well, for what it's worth. And we've seen this over and over again. When we have these cards released in their own decks, there are no other versions because there are no versions to give. Now, I will say there was a really weird exception to this a little while ago, and that was the Gengar VMAX and Inteleon VMAX decks. They actually had chase cards in them, which is a little bit weird. They had like one in every... we never actually got the exact numbers, but it was something like 1 in 10 decks would actually be a special version that did have the special art rare in. That was actually kind of amazing. So that was like the one exception. But generally speaking, we don't get extra versions. So when Japan got these cards, and when we got these cards, there were no full art versions. Getting a full art version was honestly kind of amazing and awesome and completely unforeseen. We didn't see it coming, and we shouldn't have seen it coming, because there was no precedent for doing this. Well, they've gone and done it again, except now they've gone and done it with Rainbow Rare cards. They're all over eBay at the moment. Rainbow Rare versions of Venusaur VMAX and Blastoise VMAX. Now, do remember that the full art versions were Vs. They were still in the decks in Japan and over here, but just to be clear, the Vs were the full art, these are the VMAXs. Of course, Blastoise V and Venusaur V were actually in the V battle decks, and then these were actually in their own VMAX battle boxes, I believe was the terminology. But the point is, yeah, these are kind of awesome, and I love them. And just like the full arts I told you about a moment ago, they shouldn't exist. Like, they literally shouldn't exist. We shouldn't have these. These shouldn't be a thing. Because we never got these. Japan had them in their own deck. We had them in our battle boxes. There was no Rainbow Rare version of them. That just never got released. It was never a thing. And yet, yep, they absolutely do exist. They are absolutely out there. For what it's worth, they're not actually hideously expensive. Having a look around this morning, I can find a Venusaur for like $11. I will say the Blastoise has only one copy on there and it's $30. But, of course, Blastoise is far more popular than Venusaur, so that makes sense. I actually really want this. And if you're looking for cool, weird promos that you're not going to see elsewhere, you know what? These are awesome. Because, again, these full art and Rainbow Rare cards, they don't exist elsewhere. They exist as Chinese versions, and that is it. There's no English version, there's no Japanese version, there's no other Asian version. It is literally a case of you buy these or you don't. There is actually a pair of them on eBay at the moment. You can generally pick up the pair for $25. That seems to be the going rate. Here's some proof. So yeah, these are extremely cool. I like these very, very much indeed. And they can be found elsewhere. They are, as it stands at the moment, China exclusive. And remember what's going on with China. They're catching up, mainland China. Obviously, Hong Kong and Taiwan, traditional Chinese, they caught up a while ago. But mainland China, simplified Chinese, they are rushing to catch up at the moment. So these, Venusaur and Blastoise cards, we had them a long time ago at this stage. There is no reason whatsoever that we would suddenly randomly just get these in a product. These are long gone. So I would not expect to get these in any other language. I would expect these to stay as Chinese exclusives. And frankly, we've got the Full Art Vs and the Rainbow Rare VMAXs. This is purely a prediction, okay? Nothing more than that. But I do think we're going to get down the line a little bit, and people are going to realise that there are these super rare Venusaur and Blastoise cards that were only released in mainland China, and I think at some point there's going to be a rush on these when people realise how kind of exclusive they are. If you're into these, my advice would be get in before other people get in. There we go. You have been warned. Speaking of cool exclusive stuff that we're probably never going to get, how about this Charizard? Now, what we've got here is basically a bunch of Charizard merch that is being released in Korea. And what you've got yourself there is a playmat, a deck box, and a little tin for damage counters or dice or whatever you like. And I kind of love the fact that it just says Pokémon right across the top. Doesn't say the name of the Pokemon, it's just like, it's a Pokemon. You all know it's a Pokemon, go on with it. I kind of love that. This is kind of awesome. I'm a fan of this, honestly. It's coming out, well, it's actually just come out over in Korea, and the price is 20,000 won. And I'll be honest with you, this is not a currency I can do in my head. Sorry about that. The good news is the internet exists, and I can tell you that 20,000 won comes in roughly $15 for your playmat and your deck box and your little tin, which is really kind of awesome. So yeah, this is cool. I like this. I like this very much indeed. Of course, do remember that if you do find somewhere to buy this, you can go to shippin.com and use the code PTCGRadio15, and that will allow you to order stuff from Korea. I just think this is awesome. And look, people love Charizard. And this is going to be kind of exclusive Charizard merch that you're not going to find in many places. So honestly, this is something worth looking into. What I'm going to do, I'm going to link the Pokemon Store Korea, the official Korean site, in the description of this channel, or description of this video. And then, of course, you know the deal. Go on Shippin', and then you can get them to essentially buy it for you from Korea. And then if you want to buy any of this cool, and there's a bunch of cool Korean stuff, I will link what I'll do is I'll link the card game homepage in the description, and then go to Shippin', use my code, jobs are good'un. Seriously, there's some cool stuff there. You should check it out. There is also a Greninja coming, and I don't think the Greninja is as cool as the Charizard, let's be clear, but it's still cool, and it's still exclusive, and it's still different, and it's still not something you're going to find everywhere. So this seems like something that is absolutely worth getting excited about, picking up, and just, having a bit of a play with. Seriously, there's some very cool stuff over in Korea. So, like I can say, I'm going to link I'll link the Korean store, the TCG homepage, in the description of this video. And then you've got my shipping code. And if you want to order anything from Korea, that is going to be the easiest and simplest way to do it. So there we go. Yeah. This stuff's really cool. I did not think we were going to get a Rainbow Rare Venusaur and Blastoise, and maybe after seeing the full art Vs, maybe I should have seen it coming. Maybe that's a prediction that would have been sensible to make. I don't know, it's too late now. But we've got them coming, we've got these awesome accessories from Korea, and now I think I've made it as easy as I possibly can if you want to order any of this cool stuff from Korea. Sound like a plan? Awesome. For now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about all of this, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and card games and Pokemon card games, all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. And of course, as I do always say, you can get shout-outs on the channel, like the lovely Eric Ridgway, who's been a supporter of ours for a while now and is a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.